The first thing I talk about is called aspiration deficit. The women have got to aspire to make a choice. They have stopped making choices. They don't aspire. It's an aspiration deficit. Not because there's anything wrong with the women. Remember, I will never put the onus on women. The ecosystem is the problem. But if I can't fix the ecosystem, let us get past the ecosystem. And if you can't get past it, okay, you work at it, we'll take the others who can get past it. That is the only way you're going to make a change. But if you're going to keep on for 100 years talking about the problems you have at home, I'm saying, okay, those who don't have any problems or who want to transcend their problems, who want to make a choice of saying, okay, I'll take the penalty, come with me. It's called an entrepreneur. You're taking the risk, you're an adventurer, all right, come with me. Those who don't take the risk are not entrepreneurs. Since this is a session on entrepreneurship, those are the only ones we want. The others, I'm not saying we don't want them until I always say power of self. If you go to YouTube, ultimately, almost everywhere I say power of self. If aham brahm. If you didn't recognize your own power, I can't do anything for you at all. That's why my book is called Leadership by Proxy. If the women think somebody else is going to proxy for them, they are totally, totally going to have to change their mind. If you want to give the ownership to anybody else, your choice. As far as I'm concerned, you are the owner of your life. Don't give it away to anybody. Make your choices, run with them. And whatever choice you make is fine. We don't want to give any value judgment for women sitting at home. It's perfectly fine if you want to do that. But I want to change my country. I want the women to have an aspiration. I want the women to get out and do more. So I will try to say, could you just make a choice to get out in the field? Leaders are those who will break the barrier and do something new, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or somebody who will change history, by a small innovation, not a large innovation. You don't have to do things big. You can do things small. It doesn't have to be big. But if that's all you're going to do, it's perfectly fine. But you're not a leader. A leader is absolutely somebody who's got a vision and is a pioneer and must have followers. You cannot be a leader without followers. So you got to be influential. You have to influence people with what you're saying. All right. And you have to get the buy in from everybody. A manager doesn't need a buy in. I'm so sorry, but all of this HR stuff doesn't fly with me very well. A manager has got a chair, doesn't need too much buy in. A manager to be very successful may need a buy in, but sitting on the chair doesn't need a buy in. While a leader has got to have a buy in from every stakeholder. It's very important because they're trying to do something new, something fresh, something that will break, the barriers of our knowledge and what we know. Those are leaders. And so I continue to say that the problem is that, and I also want to put a very important word on leadership, which is called higher purpose. So manager never looks at the higher purpose, never, never. The leader always looks at the higher purpose. There's always a higher purpose in the leader. They always do something and they always look at the higher purpose of doing it. So now what you said, on the other hand, is a manifestation of qualities that you think a leader should have, not you, but in general. And again, we are on the tipping point. Those were the qualities of the pre-pandemic era. The post-pandemic era leaders will be those who will empower others. That will be the true definition of power now. If you empower others, you will be powerful. The digital world is going to make it such that if you don't empower somebody, they're not even going to come online. Forget about anything else, right? They just won't be online. So empowering others is going to be a very important definition of a leader. And a manager who does not empower will remain a manager. Nothing wrong with it. That's their choice. We mustn't make any value judgments, but we must get our definitions clear. And I think especially women CEOs in India are mostly managers. They're not really leaders. I haven't seen them leading anybody. I don't even see them making any mentoring any women for that matter. I mean, how many mentees have they got? And if they don't have, then where's the leadership? Or did they innovate something? Or what did they do? If not, then they're just managers. For me, words don't mean anything until they mean anything. The leader has no ladder. Don't you understand what I'm saying? You see, the leader has no ladder. A leader is somebody who flies. They
Who is
don't need
also
a ladder.
he's giving a direction that this is where the ladder has to be kept, and the manager
Uh, the
efficiently
leader does
flies
not
the
even
ladder.
give. The leader doesn't even give directions. The leader demonstrates. The leader will fly, and everybody will fly with them. So, giving direction is a manager's job. A leader's job is to demonstrate. This is how it's going to be done. This is how I'm going to do it. Okay, now follow me. You see, that's the leader. I'm going to do 10 push ups. Okay, now you follow me. You do 10 push ups. I have to demonstrate. But if I say I'm a manager and this is how you do push ups, how does that make them a leader? So I think the leaders have no ladders. I think the leaders are flying. They're limitless. They have no limitations, and they, demonstrate what they do. Now, that's why I said you got to have followers. A leader will lead, and people will follow them. That's what business leaders do. And there are employees that just follow their leaders because they are so demonstrative. Well, the first thing is that you can never brand yourself until you know yourself. And that's what I'm saying. You first have to know yourself. What are you branding? Who are you? Do you know who you are? You get the point I'm making? So when I do my branding thing, it's all A, about power of self and knowing yourself, and B, who are you? Can you please make one slide? I'm telling all the women, please make one slide on who am I? Who am I? How many bullet points are you going to write there? Just in bullet points, who am I? First, they must recognize themselves, and this is the single most difficult thing to do. They are so lost in their, daily matters and daily chores, and I call it noise. It's called noise. They're so lost in the noise, they have actually forgotten who they are. So the first thing about branding is that I can brand myself because I know who I am. It's got nothing to do with good, bad, dignity, nothing. Just who are you? Identity. It's about your identity. Once you've understood your identity, then you have to be very intentional about your message. So once you have your identity and you understood who you are, the second thing is, what is your message? What does your brand say? Does your brand say I like Tara's, you can trust me, or I'm ethical, or like Nike, just do it? What's your message, right? Or I'm fearless, or I'm efficient. Okay, but I need just one message. What is the message of your brand? What should they say when they meet Rajni? Who is she? One brand message. The third thing then is to make sure that you are true to your brand. That anytime and every time you go anywhere, you stick with your brand. All right? It has nothing to do with your clothes yet. It has to do with if you figured out who you are, then please stick with your brand. If I say I'm Gandhian, then let me stick with my brand. Let me not appear un-Gandhian in my ways. If I say I'm a Bollywood star, who am I? I'm a Bollywood. Okay, then let me hang on with the Bollywood star. Okay, I'm just saying. And as a business leader, if I want to say I'm a CEO, who am I? I'm a CEO. Or I'm a successful CEO. Then my messaging should be successful CEO wherever I go. It is an intentional brand. You have to keep making people, you see, branding is about recall value, all right? You got to keep on making people recall over and over and over again the same thing. Or if I say I'm the Phoebe president, then wherever I go, I must have people saying Phoebe president has come, okay? And then I must behave like the Phoebe president. That's my brand, So messaging, and then intentionally putting your brand across digitally wherever you are. If I say I'm an entrepreneur and I dress up like a school teacher, then dress comes, right? Because people will not give you a chance to speak, not because I care about your dress. Nobody's going to give you a chance to speak. They will first make all judgments based on perception. And how you come across is the very first perception of everybody. They will make all sorts of conclusions about you before you can even speak. So be sure that you project your brand. So the last on the projection, that whenever you brand, you project your brand properly. All right. If you mean to be X, then stay with X. If you, there are a lot of women CEOs who try to wear, the male clothing to fit into that. There's no problem. If that's what they think and they're comfortable with, I'm fine with it. But if you want to project a CEO as to wear a jacket, but I'm feminine, okay, then let me wear my earrings and let me wear my silver jewelry. What is the problem? You can fusion the two together.
Yeah.
You can go together just fine.
Yes, that's
Okay, and I'm demonstrating how I can put the two together. I'm totally business-like. I'm projecting my business-like image, but I'm also projecting my femininity, and I'm not going to lose it. It's a critical part of my leadership style. You can fuse the two, and it's very intentional. I'm doing it very intentionally so that whoever sees me gets what I'm trying to say. So branding is a very, it's a very deep thing. I want to say that it's 80% mental, it's not physical, it's mental. The 20% is the physical manifestation of what you're already wanting to project. So, most people tend to think branding is all networking and physical. Actually, it's not. Branding, if you go to a good PR company, they will tell you it's about the messaging. You could be absolutely bad, but hey, fake news is going to make you great. Let's all do fake news then. You know what I'm saying? The branding is very difficult to extricate yourself from the noise. But women are very good at it. But the reason why they don't do it is not because they're lacking, because they don't realize that it's 80% mental. They think it's all physical. If you want to take the tips, the first thing, like I said, is make sure on social media you put your name correctly. The people will only read the first three words, right? They're not going to get past the third one. If only they like the first three words, will they get past to the fourth one? So if I'm on my social media, I will say I'm LinkedIn Top Voices, I'm CEO of so and so, and I'm a book author. Okay, done. They won't wait to hear whether I'm an entrepreneur or a board director or they won't get there. So be very sure that you first write down the first three words on social media that you want everybody to hear when they see it. All right, the three words are very important. The second thing is that please go and connect with people, especially if you're on LinkedIn. You got to have followers, and people will follow you, A, if you're connected, and B, if you're posting content. If you just go to social media and do like, nobody's going to follow you. All right, so my suggestion is that every day you get up and at least connect with 30 people or 40 people every day. Every day means every day. I don't mean every other day, I mean every day. Go and connect with at least 30 people. How do you find those 30 people? Don't look for them. Suppose you follow me. Go and look for what I posted on LinkedIn and then see the 20 or the 50 or the 100 people that liked what I did. Then you know that they are common minded, like minded people. Go and connect with them. All right. Because the people that will like what I've written are like minded people, people like me, people like you. So follow my post or somebody's post, some person that you like, and every day go and connect with 30 people who have liked what they say.